So, as the summer months are heating up, so too is recruiting. And today, we need to turn our attention to Tuscaloosa, where the Alabama Crimson Tide got a massive win in the class of 2025 for one of the best prospects in all of high school football. Four-star running back Anthony Rogers, and this is something we need to break down. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill, I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you excited that Anthony Rogers commits to Alabama? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as I do constant college football content and you don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions seem small. They are massive to content creators such as myself and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, who is Anthony Rogers? Well, Anthony Rogers, like I said in the intro, is one of the best prospects in all of high school football in the class of 2025. If we look at the 24/7 Sports composite, he comes in as a top 100 prospect in the nation, specifically coming in as the number 87 player in the nation, regardless of position, the number 8 running back, and the number 19 prospect in the state of Florida, a state always loaded with talent. But it's important to note that Anthony Rogers got his start in high school football playing in the state of Alabama, where the Crimson Tide were able to establish a deep relationship and familiarity, something that undoubtedly has helped them win this battle. From playing high school football in Alabama, he's set to play his junior season at IMG Academy in Tuscaloosa, which is where the Florida ranking comes in. Before we really start dissecting that, I do want to draw your attention to this. The 24/7 Sports composite, like I said, has him just outside the top 75. But 24/7 Sports rankings themselves, well, that tells a different story. If we look there, he comes in as the number 33 player in the nation, the number 1 running back, and the number 8 player in the state of Florida. So this is a guy you need to keep your eyes on. This is a guy that could absolutely shoot up the recruiting boards, and I think he is an exciting player. He stands 5'8", 185 pounds, and when we start asking the question, what does Anthony Rogers do well? He is an absolute gadget on the offensive side of the ball. Having a lasered 40 time of 4.48, when you turn on the film, it becomes obvious this guy is electric with the ball in his hand at every level of the game. On special teams, he was an absolute factor for his team, accounting for over 35 yards per touch. Through the receiving game through his sophomore year, over 200 yards through the air, and absolutely, whenever we start looking at what he did as a pure running back, over 1,600 yards on the ground as a sophomore and 22 touchdowns. So this is a do-it-all type player. And when we look at Alabama's new offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, I think this makes sense. Not only do we know Tommy Rees wants to get real active with the running backs, but if you have the ability to get a running back with as much versatility as Anthony Rogers has, you do it, and I don't think you ask too many questions about it. We've seen what versatile running backs mean for Alabama's offense. We can look at Josh Jacobs, we can look at Najee Harris, we can look at Jamir Gibbs. The ability to present a threat as a receiving back completely changes the way the defenses have to guard Alabama. I always reference the Utah State game, and it's not the only game it happened in. It's just the game I first referenced it in, and we talked about it on a live stream, where Jamir Gibbs floated out the backfield and just went into the flat, and the second he did so, the safety bit. The second the safety stepped forward, Bryce just popped it right over the safety's head to Ja'Cory Brooks for an easy pitch and catch of about 25 yards. Just the threat of Jamir Gibbs was enough to change the way the defense was playing the play and make them expose a weakness. And in theory, a guy like Anthony Rogers can help you do the same thing. Guys that have this much versatility where the second they float out the backfield, defenses must account for them because they are a legitimate threat with the ball in their hand at any level. That's exactly why I think Anthony Rogers is a compelling addition. This is a guy who I'm really excited to see play football at IMG. One thing we know about IMG is it's the iron sharpens iron mantra. He's going to be practicing against guys that will be playing on Saturdays. He'll be playing in games against guys that will be playing on Saturdays, and all of that helps to make for an easier transition from the high school level to the college level, and that's something you've got to love. Now, the last point I'll talk about here is what this means for Alabama's 2025 class, and let's be honest here, 2025 is so far into the future, it doesn't mean much outside of being excited that you got a win. What I will say for Alabama is I think the long-standing relationship really helps here. Anthony Rogers being from the state of Alabama, they have that familiarity, and I do think that's a card Alabama will look to hold on to. He's a very good playmaker, and this gives Alabama 4 commitments in the class of 2025, and they remain at the number 2 recruiting spot in the nation right behind Georgia, who currently has 5 commitments. And in this class, Alabama's 4 commitments are all on the offensive side of the football. Ryan Williams, the top 5 prospect in the nation at wide receiver, Anthony Rogers, the running back, and 2 offensive linemen. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Alabama does in the class of 2025, but I think everybody right now in college football is so focused on the class of 2024, and deservedly so. That's the class that will sign first. Those are the guys that will be on campus first, so it makes sense. But there is no arguing that this is a great addition. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.